Before Madam C.J. Walker, there was Mary Ellen Pleasant, believed to be California's first black millionaire, who was also nicknamed the Harriet Tubman of California for using her money to fund the Underground Railroad, slave revolts, and help freed slaves to get on their feet. Mary's birth is not entirely clear, with some saying she was born into slavery around 1814, but she herself said that her mother was a free black woman from Louisiana and her father a Hawaiian from Philadelphia. This is probably why her image is often confused with that of Queen Emma of Hawaii. In any event, Mary was separated from her parents at a young age and lived with an older white family who ran a general store. They were abolitionists, and Mary was able to work there and learn how to run a small business. Now, the Hussey family she lived with were also Quakers and outspoken opponents of slavery, hiding escaping slaves in their home and becoming major figures on the Underground Railroad. Fast forward, Mary Ellen marries James Smith, a wealthy abolitionist who left her tens of thousands of dollars when he died. She then married again, and her and her new husband moved to San Francisco at the height of the California Gold Rush of 1848-1849, where they continued to arrange for escaping slaves on the Underground Railroad to make it to California. And this is when her life really gets interesting. Putting everything under the names of her white business partners, Mary Pleasant eventually amassed millions of dollars, $30 million to be exact. She opened laundry businesses, restaurants, boarding houses, and invested in companies that had a major influence on the Western economy, like Wells Fargo and the Bank of California. She bought property and continued to support the Underground Railroad by funding it. Mary was famous for her cooking and worked as a domestic servant for some of the wealthiest residents in San Francisco. This gave her opportunities to listen in on conversations about upcoming investment opportunities. This is how she knew what to invest in, because rich white people treat black servants like they were invisible. So it was easy for Mary to eavesdrop while masquerading as basically a maid. One main person who helped her was a man named Thomas Bell. He was the vice president of the Bank of California, and they built a mansion together, but we will get back to him. When Mary Ellen came to San Francisco, her plan wasn't just to make money. Historians note that she was also part of an international network that devoted to ending slavery. One major example is when she gave $30,000 to abolitionist John Brown to fund his famous attack on Harper Ferry in West Virginia, which is widely considered a significant precipitating event to the Civil War. According to one biographer, one of the reasons she's not known to students of U.S. history and Americans is because a lot of the activities that she was involved in were either controversial or secret. See, although we know about her now, she wasn't praised and things like that, her name was actually slandered, and she was vilified, and she was known as a mysterious, controversial black woman in San Francisco's early history. These old newspaper clippings show that white society referred to her as Mammy Pleasant, a name she hated but still used to her advantage. Mammy, as we know, was a stereotypical representation of a devoted black woman housekeeper with its roots in slavery. It's also said that she lost most of her money when Thomas Bell died. Remember the vice president of the bank whose name was in everything? Well, Thomas Bell helped Mary build her mansion where she lived with Thomas, his wife Teresa, and their children. Although she was part owner of the property, Mary Ellen hid her financial status from the white public and portrayed herself as the family's servant. Black people knew who she was, but she also passed for white, put her businesses in the names of white partners, and lived with the Bells as their servant. This would backfire when Bell died, and her complicated financial situation with the Bell family would significantly decrease her wealth. Nonetheless, Mary Ellen Pleasant's contribution as an entrepreneur who made millions of dollars that helped fund the Underground Railroad, helped enslaved people escape to freedom, hire black people at her restaurants and horse stables, use her fortune to provide relief for dozens of black families, earns her a place in history and someone we definitely should have learned more about in school.